Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Daxon here with Knoxide.org as well as Weaver Family Farms. Been having a little bit of problems with the internet for. It's actually probably been going on for a couple months now. Just kind of been dealing with it, or too lazy really to mess with it. And tonight I finally had enough of it, trying to use Hulu Live TV. We finally got Hulu Live TV, and it constantly would show an error saying that there's a problem with the connection. It's dropping. I couldn't watch the live TV, and sometimes Netflix and stuff, the same problem. Now we do live in the country, and our average internet speed is 7 to like 8.5 megabits per second download, which is fine for streaming. It always has been fine, even with like 5. You're fine unless you're like watching something in super HD. Then you need closer to 10 to 20 if it's really, really high definition, especially something that's live, but it's not that. It's just, I don't know, it's probably 1080p, I guess, is what Hulu Live TV streaming in. Anyway, so finally I want to get to the bottom of this. I learned something new, and hopefully you can learn something from this too. I'll tell you what I learned. I'm by no means a network expert, but hopefully this can help you a little bit. Basically, I downloaded this app for my computer here, my PC. This is a Windows, and it's called Wi-Fi Analyzer. That's what the icon looks like. You can get it. It's free unless they change the icon later, but this is kind of what it looks like as of right now. It kind of shows you everything once you get it going, and of course my PC here, my desktop, is connected directly to my router. So when I first opened up this app here on the computer, it kept saying disconnected, disconnected, and I'm like, what? And then I realized, I'm wired to it, so I had to come down in here into the internet settings and actually force my computer to connect wirelessly to the router, connect to the Wi-Fi. And then I restarted this app here, and it moved to connected. Now, it shows you all types of good things here. It shows like the channel your router's on, your network you're connected to, and all that good stuff. And it also shows your dBm, which I wasn't too familiar with that either, but it looks like negative 30 to 40 or so is pretty good. And then basically the higher this number goes, if you get up to like negative 90, I guess that's kind of like your signal strength. From what I understand, you might do your own research on that part, but it appears that would be signal strength, and I guess you would consider this the lower the number goes. So negative 50, negative 60, negative 70, and so on. That means worse. Right now it's pretty good, and I'm right by the wireless router. I can't tell you how many wireless routers I've thrown out, and what I'm about to show you could have been my problem all along, and probably was at least half the time. It all comes down to your channel, and what I found out, and that's what this app is pretty cool. And go up here to the Analyze tab, and it shows you can go to the 5 gigahertz or your 2.4 gigahertz band. And as of right now, there's not too many people that's using 5 gigahertz. I can click on that, and you can see no one around me, and none of my devices or anything are on the 5. So I'll go back to the 2.4. Basically, here is my actual wireless network. It was overlapping. I believe I'm not sure where it went. My neighbor's Wi-Fi was on here a minute ago. Even though I live in the country, it's kind of almost like a little community out here. But still, he's probably 200 foot or something like that from my house, so his internet was kind of interfering with mine, and mine with his. And also, I guess you would consider these networks too, like my living room TV. It's a smart TV, so I guess it kind of has its own network and can interfere, and different things can interfere based upon what channel they are. Now, this was on channel 6. You definitely do not want any of this stuff overlapping. If you live in a more crowded area, then you would see a whole bunch of these on here, and they could all be interfering. And down here, it'll show you what they recommend for you to be on, and it told me 1 from the start. It was over here on like 7 or something like that right here, 7 or 8 overlapping, so they'd be interfering. So I switched it to channel 1, and now my internet so far is not dropping any connections yet. Hopefully this did actually fix the problem. And so far as web pages do seem to be loading just as fast wirelessly on my PC as it was when it's wired. Even though I'm pretty close to the router, you would always expect a wired connection to at least be a little bit quicker, but now I'm getting full speeds being wireless. And same way on my iPhone, I can check the speeds through that. And so basically I'm going to show you how I changed the channel that my router was on. And what I did is go to the internet, and our new router is a Linksys. I'll go up here. The screen recorder is always in the way. I can open up a new tab and show you. Typically it's 192.168.1.1, and you would push enter, and that would basically load up your router's configuration page. And if you have a new router, sometimes if for some reason that's changed, there's a specific link that you can go to. Like this one was, what's it called? Yeah, linksysmartwifi.com is what it told me to go to in the directions. But either way, whatever works for you. And then it asked me to sign in with my admin, email or username and password. Here is all my settings. I can see the device list, the two different bands, the 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz on the router, which devices are on. There's no guess on here. All of these are my devices. And I went into, let's see, Wi-Fi settings. I think I'm already there. No, maybe not. And got this loaded up here. And this is how I was able to change it. Now you can turn on or off either band if you just want to stick to the 5, since not as many things or people are using it. But for some reason when I did that, it made it show to where like none of my devices were wanting to pop up. It wasn't showing anything on the 2.4 anymore. So that's kind of above and beyond me. So what I did is just turn the 5 back on too, just because it's kind of how it's supposed to be anyway. And like I told you, it was on channel 8. I was able to click on this and select channel 1. And I'm not too sure what the channel width is. I just leave that on auto because that's how it already was. And that's it. Select channel 1. Make sure all this looks good. And then I was able to click apply. And it took about a minute or so. I had to actually send the updates to the router. Because your router's pretty much like a computer. It has all similar components. And I clicked OK. And so far so good. I'll just pull up an easy speed test here just to make sure I'm getting what I'm supposed to be getting. Sometimes the Google speed test doesn't always work perfectly, so we might have to try something else. Yeah, it's being too slow. Let's go to this one, speed test by Ookla. Maybe. Not sure why it's doing this now. There it goes, maybe. Alright, then I can click go. And let's see what we get pulled up here. I don't know why it's doing this now. That's interesting. And interestingly enough, there must be actual internet problems outside of my router right now. For some reason, it's showing a lot slower than it was just right before I started recording this video. But however, using this app did help show me a lot of information. Yeah, showing my internet was even having problems connecting there. It's really cool. I recommend getting that. And like I said, my speeds are normally around 7.5 to 8.5 or something like that download, and then 4 or 5 or 6 upload. But anyway, that's it for this video. Hopefully it'll help you a little bit, and you can get things figured out for yourself. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye-bye.